Madam Chair, excuse me. Whew, goodness gracious, I lost my breath there running those steps there.
You say you're a runner, but that was about 10
I'm
feet.
telling you, it was a little sprint. I did this quick step kind of thing. So, Madam Chair, I'd like to take a point of privilege, if you don't mind. I'll lead this discussion on 9.2. As you know, not only tonight is a special night, not only because we are celebrating an incredible educator and her achievements this year, but we are also recognizing our board chair, who tonight is her last meeting, her final, maybe not the last meeting, but certainly the final meeting, after 20 consecutive years of devoted service to the district. We have several special guests here tonight who came specifically to honor you. And they will, if you would, so we got a lot of people here, if you'll see in the background, some special folks as well that have slid in. But we're going to have some folks come up and speak tonight. And after each one speaks, we'll certainly do the microphone cleaning before the next one stands up, as we do live in the age of COVID-19. But so we're going to have some speakers start. So if Representative Paula Calhoun, if you would lead us off tonight, please. I know you have a proclamation to make. And then Kathy, if you would, Councilwoman Manus, I'm sorry, I should have said that. If you would follow Representative Calhoun, that would be great. So if you would go to the microphone. Yes. I will.
You want me to come down?
Yes.
Okay. No, I'll go back there. You sure? Yeah, I don't mind going back there.
This is what it's going to be. Yes. Not the short. I don't think I need to read anything off of that. Okay.
If you can read that, you do not need glasses.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Little, and guests. And thank you, board members, for the opportunity to recognize Cindy Smith for her service to this board and the educational community. During the last week of the legislative session, Anne Marie Green contacted Representative Wooten and myself about a House resolution for Cindy. Without hesitation, we were delighted to oblige to her request and this board's. Cindy is just one of the special people who gets work done. She ensures a positive outcome, yet takes no credit. She conveys an encouraging perspective by highlighting the essential workings of a project and downplaying misunderstood issues. This is a gift. Cindy keeps people focused on the end results. A great educational experience for the students, parents, educators, and our community. The General Assembly recognizes the need to marry education and the workforce. Without a solid foundation in education, economic progress will be out of reach for many families and other communities across the state. We are blessed. We have outstanding schools in Lexington District 1 due to the many people who embody hard work, commitment, and leadership, thus providing opportunities for employment. Cindy Smith, my friend and yours, has been one of those leaders who has taken education and developed it over 20 years. We thank her for the 20 years of volunteering as a school board member and more recently to lead the Board of Professionals. Cindy, please accept this House resolution for your years of service and dedication to this board and our community. You have been a champion of education.
This lady has been a champion for education, and we truly appreciate what she's doing for our students as well. Thank you, Paula.
Now we have Councilman Kathy Maness, and with Councilman Maness, we also have Councilman Ron Williams and Councilman Todd Carnes. Thank you for being here tonight, all three of you. And I'm going to turn it over to Councilman Maness.
Thank you, Dr. Little. Good evening. I would like to thank the board for the difficult decisions you've had to make this year. It's been difficult for students, teachers, administrators, and parents in our districts. But thank you so much for your leadership, and especially for the leadership of your board chairman, Cindy Smith. I'm here tonight as a member of Lexington Town Council, along with my colleagues, Todd Carnes and Ron Williams, to celebrate you, Cindy. We have a proclamation of the mayor and council for the town of Lexington recognizing Cindy Smith for distinguished service in promoting public education. Whereas Cindy Smith has served on the Lexington School District 1 Board of Directors since 2000, including service as chairman, and where she has served in every position of leadership on the South Carolina School Boards Association, including their president. And whereas her efforts to promote education include service on the National School Boards Association, along as a member of the National Nominating Committee, whereas she has served as the chair of Lexington One Educational Foundation, an organization serving to raise funds and support for district programs, and whereas her tireless service to public education has spanned over 2 decades, where she has continuously furthered her vision to maintain school boards that advocate for all students, to look for best practices, and open to new ideas, embrace collaboration and teamwork, exhibit integrity, put aside personal agendas, and are loyal to the district's school success, an act of courage. And whereas Cindy is now retiring from service to public schools after a long and wonderful career, now therefore be it proclaimed by the mayor and town council of the town of Lexington that Cindy Smith is hereby recognized, congratulated, and commended for her service as a tireless and continuous advocate for improvement of public schools and for the education provided to the public school students in Lexington School District 1, given this 20th day of October, 2020. And on a personal note, I have known Cindy since this young lady and my daughter played at Ann Pitt's daycare. She's a wonderful friend. So come on.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Chuck Sailors. I believe he's representing the Greenville County School Board. Or he also might be representing the South Carolina School Boards Association. Sorry about that. And they don't
Thank you
give
for
me
that
so many notes
gracious,
up here. I'm
thank
making
you
up
for
my
that
notes.
gracious introduction, Dr. Little. Cindy, tonight I'm not going to address you per protocol as Madam Chairman, but I'm going to address you as Madam President, which is appropriate considering the fact that the two of us had the gracious opportunity to serve as State President of the State Association for South Carolina. As Kathy mentioned earlier, Cindy, you have a distinguished service record with not only the state of South Carolina, but at the national level as well, representing all of the districts and all the trustees within our membership. You've done a fantastic job. You have represented our state with not only true professionalism, but with grace and with the love of the children that you represent each and every day. You and I first met, as many of you may know, when we were PTA volunteers. And Cindy was a new local unit president in the Lexington area. I was from Greer. And we were sitting next to each other at a conference, and the door prize was announced, and Cindy won the door prize. It was a camera. And I made the comment under my breath, I said, you know, one of these days maybe I'll be lucky enough to get that. Cindy reached over and said, here, you won. And so from that point on, we became fast and furious friends. As Kathy also mentioned, your children grew up with hers as well as the girls grew up with ours as well. Phil and I have spent many a day on the golf course together, both good days and bad. And when you ran for the school board in 2000, I made the comment I wouldn't be far behind. So in 2002, I ran in Greenville and have been serving ever since. You're retiring now, and it may be not too long after you that I will join you, because I keep humming to myself the song Happy Days. And so I appreciate everything that you've done for our kids, for the love of our association, for the grace and determination that you have faced under some very trying times from time to time, and you've done a fantastic job. And so thank you very much for your service. And Dr. Little, with your permission, I'd like to call on our executive director, Scott Price, who also has some comments that he'd like to share. Scott?
You need to give this an extra white for me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a real honor to be here this evening. My name is Scott Price with the School Boards Association, and we are honored here tonight to be here to speak on behalf of the association and our membership, to thank Cindy Smith for her dedicated service as a Lexington 1 school board member for 20 years. Cindy, you've always been a model school board member. Your decisions are guided by what you feel is the best interest of the children of Lexington School District 1, and you carried that beacon with you to the state level with SCSBA as a regional director, officer, and then president in 2011, guided by what is in the best interest of the students of South Carolina. If I were to sum up your remarkable service on the board over these many years, it would be advocate. Advocacy is a major role of school board members. It's probably one of the most important roles of school board members because it drives so many of the decisions that you make. And being a strong advocate means so much more than just showing up. And I say that because you are always one of the hardest workers at our days at the Capitol that we have in the State House, where we meet with legislators to talk about educational issues. You are always the hardest worker in D.C. when we're meeting with members of the congressional delegation to talk about educational issues. You never hesitate when we would call on you to come testify or to come to contact your delegation members, and we appreciate that. That's advocacy. That's stepping up. Lexington 1 more than a decade ago, and under your guidance, took a strong stand for the rights of school districts and school boards to advocate on behalf of public schools and public school children. And the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals agreed with you in Page versus Lexington School District 1. That decision became the basis for the advocacy policy that every school board in this state now has adopted over the years. And I know that's something that y'all should be very proud of. You and I have had numerous discussions over the years about educational issues, whether it's board governance, pending legislation, or even legal decisions. And I describe your advocacy efforts in the present tense because I kind of have the feeling we haven't seen the last of you once you leave the board, and we look forward to continuing to work with you in the future, because I know that your advocacy for school children will remain strong. So thank you for your service. Thank you for being a friend to public education, to SCSBA, and to me, and Godspeed to you in civilian life.
Hang on just a second, Cindy.
I just want to, I want to brag on Chuck. He is actually you're a question, he's a trivia question. He literally has a nationwide trivia question about Mr. Sailors. He is the first male national president of the PTA Association. And he went on from that, sitting beside me and getting that camera, till he became the national president for the PTA. So he definitely has a love of children.
I have the inability to say no. Well, I broke the elastic on it. They're giving me a hard time. I didn't care for that one. Well, I have a house divided. I have one that's half and half, but the elastic broke. So I'm slumming it tonight.
All right, finally tonight, we have a video from Congressman Wilson's office. If, Tracy, you got that?
Ladies and gentlemen, what an honor to let everyone know how much I appreciate Cindy Smith, her service on the school board. Today, it was a reminder, I was earlier at Lexington Rotary with Luke Clamp, to see the personnel that Cindy and the school board have made every effort to have professionals at every level. It's just so exciting to see the people that have been recruited and in such a fast-growing district to adjust so much. And then, hey, the facilities, gee whiz, when I think of River Bluff High School, I indeed like to point out it's more like River Bluff University. The facilities are just world-class, and it's because we have good people like Cindy serving. And then I also know the tough Solomon decisions that have to be made on disciplinary actions. And so being on the school board is really tough. Of all the positions that I can think of in public service, truly school board. And so Cindy, congratulations. You've made such a positive difference for a world-class community. God bless you.
And can I mention that Congressman Wilson wanted to be here, but then all of a sudden he's in a debate at River Bluff tonight, so he got double booked, and I think he wanted to speak for himself tonight, so he sent a video.
Yeah, if you can do it, do you mind if I go here?
Well, I've got one other thing. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I messed this whole thing up. See, they put me in charge of something. I messed it up. If you'll stay down there for just a second, Sandy. I've got one other thing. I gotta get done. Yep, indeed. All right, so hang on just a second. I've got it. So we would also like to present you the plaque that summarizes your 20 years. It summarizes your 20 years on the Lexington School Board. Thank you very much. Being the chair, when you were vice chair, when you were secretary, and when you began. And again, our greatest contribution. This is one of the things that I think is the coolest thing when we give this to an outgoing board member. Thank you very much for all that you've done. And we are glad you've gone from the Lexington Elementary School PTA.
SIC.
And then you've given so much of your time and energy and effort. And I spoke to Phil the other day on the phone, and Phil mentioned to me that if they had vacations, they would reschedule them. And so we are thankful that you've rescheduled vacations. We're thankful you've given so much of your time and energy and effort over the last 20 years to make this community what it is. If you look at the years you've been on this board, what a great time of recognition and a great time of accomplishment that this school district has lived through. Your leadership is absolutely critical in that. So congratulations for these wonderful 20 years. Thank you very much.
Let me get mine.
I'll get it. Let me take that.
It's just going to be short and sweet, but this has been an absolute honor and privilege of my professional career. Is the highlight to have served on this board, but more importantly, to serve the children in our community and to have the trust of our community. Our school district has doubled in size. I see Miss Kay Coker right here. It has doubled in size than when I first joined Kay, and then Debbie joined me, Debbie Knight, and it continued to grow, and we continued to build schools. And somebody the other day said to me, they said, "You keep building schools, why?" And I said, "Because they're all full." Every one of them is full. But it has been such an honor and a privilege. One of my favorite all-time board members was Dr. Edwin Harmon. And Dr. Harmon is the one, he would always say, "What is our decision?" And that quote right there, "Thank you for always putting children first." That was Dr. Harmon's quote. And every time we would take a vote, he said, "I want that to be the thing we think of first. What is best for our students and our children?" And I feel some really big shoes coming into this. I'm so pleased to have worked with Dr. Woodward, Dr. Little, all these board members. We're truly blessed in Lexington 1. And I also want to thank my family. I had no idea my oldest daughter, Catherine, she's a teacher. My mom is a teacher. My niece is a teacher. My favorite cousin is a teacher. My sister-in-law is a teacher. I come from a long line of teachers and a long line of educators. And education truly is the foundation for success. And I agree with you, Ms. Calhoun. The workforce of today, education is what brings them up. And we are so blessed in Lexington 1. And I just want to thank you for all the support I've gotten over the years, because it's a team effort to keep this district up and running. And I just could not be more proud to have served in this community. So thank you. I'm giving these flowers. I don't know where to take them.
Chuck, where's Chuck?
You want to get a picture with Cindy and her family?
And my youngest daughter has COVID, and I have not been around her in a month, so I'm not exposed, but that's why she's not here. COVID finally got us.
All those privacy concerns don't apply when your mother's talking about you.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it. Anne Marie?
Thank y'all for being here.
Okay. Gosh, thank you for everything.
Thank y'all. Yeah, thank y'all for coming.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you to Miss Stroud. We're so proud of her.